Hey, welcome back. Good to see you again. Thanks for joining the channel. Hope you're all well. Today on the bench I have a Sears AM/FM multiplex receiver with built-in 8-track. It's a portable unit. You can see here it's got stereo speakers and it's quite a nice little unit. It's pretty big. It's fairly big. It's got some weight to it too. Came with a power cord. This is a garage sale find of mine. So let's have a look at it. It is a AM/FM tuner on here. You can see the dial scale and the switch for AM/FM. It's got a stereo light, telescopic antenna that looks intact. It's good. And on this side we have the 8-track system and the amplifiers. We got left and right volume control, track select. What is this? Track playing. Track select. Oh, okay. Maybe you press that to see what track you're on. Maybe it extinguishes the LED to keep the batteries, keep them from dying. Okay. Switch for radio and tape. So, and then it looks like it has like a 6-inch speaker here on both sides. Pretty filthy though. It was pretty disgusting. Did a little bit of cleaning here just to see how the case color is, and it looks fairly clean. So it's going to clean up nice once you get the nicotine glaze off. It's supported by a handle, and then you can separate the two pieces. And let's see here, you can open this up, and then with lots of cable you can make your stereo speakers separate. It's quite a bit of cable in there, cable storage. Here's the 8-track. You can see it in there. There's the head, and then a speaker, of course. So that's the 8-track side. Doesn't look like it's disconnectable. This side here has battery compartment. And you can load it up with 8 D cells. And then the party's on. You know what I mean? Like take it to the beach or camping. So it is a Sears unit, and let's see here. You can read the tag on it. Portable stereo 8-track player with AM/FM stereo radio. Model number 19276. Takes 6 D cells, sold by Simpson Sears of Toronto, Canada. Made in Hong Kong. Made in Hong Kong. And it came with a power cord. So let's plug this in. Where's the power supply on this? It's on this side here on the radio. So let's plug this in. See what we get for. Terrible. Here we go, plugging it in. Goes up to about 2 watts. Probably a transformer on standby. Let's turn the radio on. You done? Both amplifiers are working, I think. Wow, it's pretty rough shape. Yeah, we got some problems here. Turned on, it's drawing 3 watts. Let's try FM. Got absolutely nothing on FM. Well, hang on. The stereo light's coming on. And I can hear a little bit. Very, very quiet. That's maximum volume. So yeah, it's messed up for sure. Okay, tape. Now, I'm not going to plug a tape in because I don't know if you can see this. I'll show you. Take a screwdriver. You can see this. The head's flopping around in there. So something's broken on the tape head. I'm not going to plug a tape in just yet. We're going to take this all apart and we're going to fix her up. Okay, so pretty filthy, but I'm glad I bought an ultrasonic cleaner because this is exactly what I bought it for, stuff like this. If I can disassemble all the case plastics and then just dump them in there for 15 minutes, they will come out looking like brand new again. But we still have a lot of work to do with the two tuners and the tape machine because nothing's really working. The amplifiers are both working, but the switches are dirty and the pots are filthy. So I think the course of action here is just start taking things apart and cleaning while I do the service work. So it's alright. So here's the tuner side of it, the tuner portion. I got the 4 screws out, 2 from the bottom, 2 from the back, and this should just pop right out. Looks like it does. Let's see what we got inside. Okay. So we got a little 3 or 4 inch speaker, power transformer, power supply board. Looks like it's got a couple rectifiers, a couple capacitors, and then we have our tuner with all the, there's a bar antenna up here. Most of this is taken up by battery space. We have our input jack here, power input, and the tuner. Interesting stuff. Okay. So this is our pass-through cable here, and it has how many conductors on it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 conductors going through to the other side. So that will carry your power, your left and right signal, and it probably brings back one of the speaker from the power amplifier, brings back power for the speaker. It's pretty good. Okay, so I'm going to start taking this apart. I just want to get everything out of the case so I can dunk the case in the cleaner and clean it. Let's have a look at the tape side of things. Let's put this back temporary. Let's have a look at this one. Okay, it should be really free to come apart. There we go. We have our other speaker, we got our tape mechanism, we have our amplifiers. Those caps look really tired. This is falling apart. This is easy to put back together. You just loosen the screw and put the head, reposition the head back in and tighten it down again. I think it just fell out. Maybe it got dropped, who knows. So let's power this up, temporary. I just want to see if this motor is any good. So let's plug power into the other unit. Alright, so we're plugged in, we're live, and it's got to activate the switch. The switch for these is pretty simple. It's usually on the side here. When you insert the 8-track cassette, it closes the switch. And that's working. A little noisy, but we can clean all that up. So that's working good. That's everything's good that way. So it's just a matter of cleaning up and recap, I believe. This is let's unplug this. This is Hong Kong, 1970s Hong Kong at its best. This is pretty much the quality of electronics you get out of Hong Kong for that period. Let's just see if we can pull the speakers out. Very good. This can go for cleaning. It's got a mix of germanium transistors here. These 2SB, I don't know what they are, 2SB something or other. 1, 2, 3 germaniums. And then here on this side, on the low level inputs, we have silicon transistors. That is a Motorola transistor that I don't recognize. But then on the other side here, there's a Hitachi 2SC 456 or 458. But then there's mixed in with Motorola transistors. It's funny, it's made from Hong Kong's made from the mix of both. You usually don't see that. Here's another Motorola and another Motorola. So these 6 transistors here are Motorola's. These 2 are Hitachis. These are Toshiba's. Germanium. And yeah, it's interesting mix. This is a circuit board. It looks nice and clean. Alright, now that I got the case gutted, I can work on everything. I'm going to do a full recap on this. You have to understand that this stuff from Hong Kong, here's a date code. 19th of July, 1979. Middle of 1979, so it's 1980s vintage. All these caps are complete garbage. These are the bottom caps they could find in Hong Kong at that time. Nikon. Yeah, they're all no-name brands. Asuno. Those might be Japan. Doesn't even say Japan on them, so likely they're not even Japanese caps. Yeah, I'm going to change all of them and then give these boards a good cleaning and checking over. This tuner, for example, looks pretty good. Might have some dodgy solder joints, but I'll go through and look. Mainly I just want to get those garbage caps out. Okay, let's take these 2 caps for example. It's a main power supply, power transformer, a couple diodes, a couple caps. This is going to supply power for the entire thing. Now they have 2 1000 at 16 volts. Let's just take this and see what it reads on the meter. Okay, and it comes back at about 1100 microfarad, which is high. It shouldn't be that high. And 160 milliohms should be about half that actually. So that's not doing too good. This one here, exactly the same thing. So these caps are pretty tired. So my plan is single 2200 microfarad, 16 volts. Now it's important you need to power this up and measure the power supply voltage. I've seen 16 volt caps, and then on the power supply it's putting out 17, 18 volts. So if you find a power supply like that in these cheap machines, you got to check the voltage, make sure your caps are rated properly. So this, I measured this and it was at 13, so we're good. So I'm going to put this cap in here. Oh, what I did is I drilled a hole. Drilled a hole right here. You can't see it too far out. So I drill a hole here, and I'm going to put a single cap in. So I'm going to use these two holes. This needs to be scraped back so we can solder to it. Kind of make it neat. Scrape a little off this side. There. That should work. So that'll be our, where is this? This goes over here. That's our positive. Okay, so this one here is our negative. Yes, okay. So negative here, positive. I'm just going to bend these 90 degrees, and I'm going to lay the cap down on the board. Right there. So anytime you lay a cap down on a board like this, you got to secure it. You can't just use the leads. So what I use is I just use silicone, and I just put a little dab on the bottom just to get it wet with some silicone there, and it will bond to the board and it will not move. Let's put that there. Let's solder this. Just want to check and make sure it didn't crawl away. It's good. Once you get one leg soldered, it's not going to go anywhere. Okay. All right, you can remove this one. And we're done with this board. Okay, I went through and recapped everything, and yeah, it was really needed. These caps here, these are all junk. I got about, well, like three different brands of caps, or maybe two, and they're all bad. They're all weak. They're all high ASR. They're all out of tolerance. They're all garbage. So you got to remember that this is built in Hong Kong, and back in the 70s, Hong Kong was flooding our market with all kinds of garbage, and this is the kind of components they used. It was just enough to get it to work and get it out the door, and after that, you you're on your own. But going through, clean this switch. Actually, here, I'll show you the board after it's been recapped. It looks a lot better. Doesn't look so crowded with those big fat caps. And still haven't decided what I'm doing with the rest of this. I think I just might just test it and see how it runs and leave it alone if it's okay. Clean the back. But ran into a problem here. This volume pot. Clean this one here. This one's okay. This one here, you can see it's kind of broken. The shell is coming away from the collar here. And we can take, actually what I'm going to do, I'm going to remove this pot. Just unsolder it and remove it. And then we're going to take a look at it on the bench. So I'll get this out. Okay. The white wire goes on this side. Remember that, eh? Okay. I have to get rid of this ground shield. So if I can't repair this pot, I'm going to have to figure out a way to replace it. So you can see here it's disconnected here at the base. So let's open this up. Okay, this comes off. And that I can't do a damn thing for because this is crimped. That's terrible. Okay, let's see if I can replace this. It's a shame. I wonder. Soldering this back together wouldn't help, would it? I don't think. I don't think it would hold. Why is it locked up now? Oh. Okay, let me see what I can find for replacement. Okay, so I have these in stock. I keep these in stock just to, these are cheap Chinese ones. Let's see here, 100K, 2K, 50K, 500K, 20K, 1K, 10K, there it is. 1 meg, okay. So that should do our business for us. Let's see here. Yeah, I think that's it. Okay, so I'll replace this pot and get that soldered back in. Where is my shield? This went like this. And then okay, I put the other two together. Okay, awesome. All right, so electrical's all done, with the exception of a few switches I need to clean. But for the most part, electrical's done. Let's focus on the mechanical. So we have a problem here. This head is disconnected. You see how it's flopping around here. Now, I know why, because just looking at this is cracked here. It's broken. This plastic piece here, you can see it's cracked. And gluing that's not going to help, because when you tighten this screw down again, it's just going to pull that apart. And this is what clamps the head down. This little screw here. So let's take this part out, this white plastic piece. And this is kind of common for this white plastic. This is stuff that's pushing 50 years old and it's starting to crack now. So let's take this apart and get this out. What we're going to do is we're going to remove the track switch, this switch here, tells the LED indicators what track you're on according to the head position. So let's remove this. So we got an E-clip, steel washer, and then our switch assembly. It's under spring pressure. So let's remove our switch assembly. And there's our contacts. We probably want to clean this. Let's get some contact cleaner on this. Neutral contact cleaner. Let's just spray a little bit on here. Silver plated. Silver plated copper on PCB board. Okay, I think these connections cracked. Doesn't look like it, but I'll solder them up. And here's our contact. There's two little nubs here, and they ride on this one here rides on the center ring, and this one here makes contact with these four. So that's how it goes back, and it's D-shaped, so it goes in a certain way. You can see it. Take that spring out, and then there's a D-shaped. So we put this all aside, take this out as well. Now, what is going on here? How does that come apart? Good question. I don't want to break anything. It looks like it just pulls out. Here's the other side of it. That post is staked in that brass. Yeah, that's not going to do anything for us. Let's see here. There's a couple screws I can remove. One here, one here. Let's remove these two screws, and that should take out the whole assembly. Let's remove this belt. Actually, the belt's in good shape too. I was looking at it. We'll test that later. But let's get this out. So surprisingly, there's not much underneath the chassis here. There's just a flywheel, belt, pulleys, and there's an adjustment and a spring. So let's get this out. Alright, so this whole thing should come out now. There we go. Okay, we'll relube this, clean it and lube it. This is out of the way. Now we can remove our head assembly. There's also another spring here. I want to let me desolder these wires. I'm just going to make a note of where they go first. All right. Okay. Here's our head. You want to take a look at it? Very little wear on there. It's actually had very little use. It's pretty clean. It's like a brand new head almost. Okay, so this is what we're after. This piece. We have to figure out how to fix this. See how it's cracked here? Crack on this side, crack on this side. That's not all the way through. Crack in the middle. This screw has a point on it, and that's what clamps down the head assembly. So, what do we do here? Let's see. This went like this. Seems like it gets pushed back and sits on those 3 shoulders. And that's as far as it goes. And then you crank this down and it tightens up the head. But we can't do that. Now, how are we going to fix this? I have a feeling if I put epoxy in this crack here and glue it, it's not going to hold, because as soon as I tighten this screw down, it's just going to pull away. Epoxy doesn't really work good on plastics like this, because if you have any flex or any deflection in the plastic, it'll break the bond, and that's the end of that. I think what I might have to do is wrap this with wire or some kind of string and epoxy around it to make a wrap it, to keep it together. I think I might do that. That's the only way that this is going to hold, is if it's wrapped. Something's wrapped around the outside of it to clamp it. Yeah, I think I might just wrap it. I'll get some string, clean this outside very well. Actually, I'll sand it down too to get rid of the coatings. And I'll wrap it, and then it'll get, I'll put epoxy over the wraps, and that'll hold everything tight. Now, what do I use to wrap this? I could use wire, or I could use some kind of fiber. Let me think. Okay, so let's clean this up. Well, you see it's got like a kind of a smooth glazed finish on it. We wanna rough that up so that our epoxies will stick to it. So let's just Dremel on slow speed. I just want to remove some of the top layer. Just want to remove the top layer here. Okay. Just want to put some channels here in the corner, just so that the fiber can lay in it. Okay, I think I got it all. Put one here. Okay. Now what I decided to use is dental floss. Now, the problem with dental floss is you're going to get it, it's going to be most likely be waxed. And I don't know if this stuff is or not. It doesn't say anything on the package being waxed, but I'm going to use it anyways. It looks like it probably is, but we're going to try this. So I'm going to attach, let's attach the start of the fiber here. Just going to put a drop of adhesive. So I'm going to use UV curing resin, and I'm going to use it with a flashlight here. So I just want to put a little tiny bit on the side just to anchor the start of our thread. I'll put this in here, and this will be a good test to see if it's going to stick or not. Embed this in. Actually, I got it backwards. I'm going to go this way. Let's cure this. Okay. Is that going to hold? Yeah, actually it's holding pretty good. So let's just start wrapping. I'm going to wrap it tight. And get as many wraps on as I can. And go on both sides of the screw. This should provide enough strength that we can tighten that screw down, and it shouldn't come open. Okay, that's danger we're dealing with here. Wants to slip off. Trying to keep tension on it at all times too, because I don't. Yeah, this is going to be difficult. Let me cut some better grooves in the corners here. And this one. This one here. Okay. Let's try this again. I don't know how many wraps I can get on here. I was trying to get as many as I can on before. That's looking pretty good. Okay, I think what I might do is end it there. Let's anchor this. First, let's get some resin on this. Okay. Cure this side. All right. Get rid of this. That's staying on there. All right, so let's continue. Let's cut this off. Okay, let's do this side now. You really have to stay on top of this, otherwise it oozes everywhere. Okay. And the last, we'll do this side. Let's do some on the top too. Just give it a little more strength. Okay. And that should be it. That should clamp our head assembly with no troubles whatsoever. Let's see. Once this cures up, I'll try it out. Okay. It's still sticky. Now, I'm not overly concerned if the resin sticks to the plastic. It might separate from there, but as long as we have the resin forming a band around there and it sticks to the floss, it should provide enough strength to keep this clamped and banded. I think that should be good. Still sticky in spots, but I'll probably what I'll do is I'll just put this out in the sun. Okay, so here's our head. Let's try tightening this. Actually, that works pretty good. It's holding the head in. Can't pull it out. Okay, I'll put this out in the sun, let it cure. Alright, so I got this all back together. Wires are soldered back, and it's secured in the holder. The head is secure. So what I need to do now is position this. I got this re-greased, this post, and we'll just put this back in. And I'm not sure about this spring. It has a couple of ears on it, and I'm not quite sure what the purpose is of this. If it goes like this, I have a feeling it does, so I'm just going to do that. And that's how that head's going to go up and down on that shaft, that post. And here's our mechanism. This can't, oh, oops, let me get something here. This mechanism here, this controls the head height for whatever track you're on. It has a stepped cam. It's got 4 different levels. the highest, second, third, fourth, and then back down again. So depending on which position it's sitting in. And this thing will get... So let's take this all apart and clean it and grease it, and then we'll put it back together. This should be fairly easy to do. Just get all the oil off of this. Okay. This piece here. All that old. Get rid of all that old lubricant. Okay. So let's plenty. Put this on here. Actually, we can put a little bit on here too, because this is a sliding. Just put a little bit on. And that should be it. Okay. Now I think there was an E-clip and washer on the end here. Actually, I got to put it all together first. So let's put the screws. How did this connect? From below. That's right. Okay, I'll get the screws in started from below. Torque these down. Okay. We need our contact. Do we need another spring? I think we do. Alright, now everything else, see, this is now all normal and fixed. So everything else applies to 8-track service. You know, the capstan bearings need to be cleaned and relubricated. The motor, we can relubricate the motor, and then the adjustments will come after. But this is all in place now, and it seems to be working. You can see it, the head goes down, 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 and up. Down, 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 and up. So that's working. Let's do this bearing. So let's remove this E-clip from the top of the shaft. And what happens here? Okay. Plastic washer. And the rest of this comes out the bottom. Okay. Ah, the bushing stayed with the... That's unusual. Okay, let's clean this up and relubricate it. The bushing's not supposed to fall out like that. All right. Something I'm going to do here, check the diameter of this shaft, and we got 176.5, or let's do it in metric, 4.49, 4.48. Okay, we're going to go with that. Okay, let's clean these. Clean these bushings. This one's loose too. I'm not liking that loose. Okay, let's put this back. Let's use oil. 3-in-1. Three-in-one oil. So we'll place a little bit on the bottom bearing, and then we'll place some on the top bearing. Okay. Let's put this back together. Sounds good. Okay, done with that. Let's do motor service. Let's take this motor right out. Okay. Service the motor right here. You see the pulley's a little dirty. You can clean that. Get some alcohol and clean that pulley. don't know if this motor is... We would have to remove this pulley. Is that a two-piece pulley? It is. Look at that, it's two pieces. Let's just give it fresh oil and then we'll put it back together. There. So to open this motor, I would probably need to put a couple screws in here and pull a cap out of the base of the shell. I don't know, it's got these dimples, 3 dimples. There's one here, and one here. I don't know if that locks it in, but if you get something to pull on it, something you can thread in there and grab onto, you can give it a good pull. It probably comes apart. It's not going to do that today. I think we're good. So let's put this all back together. Alright, let's have a look at this belt. This one here. It's 11.5 inches, 29 centimeters. And I did clean it. It came out pretty good. It's got a little kink in it, but I think that's from sitting in one's position too long. Let's test the tension on it. We've got 85 millimeters center to center. So if we go with our meter, our scale, okay. Let's see here. $85, huh? It doesn't give us much. Probably about there. So we're probably about 150 grams. Yeah. I don't think it's that high of a belt tension. Let's see here. It's got lots of torque, lots of grip. Okay, we'll leave it at that. Everything's complete except for the alignment. So this can go back into the case. It's all completed, it's cleaned, recapped, lubricated, repaired. So that can all go back in. And the tuner itself, let's have a look at the tuner. Oh yeah. Okay, so here's our power supply. It's been recapped as well. Here's our tuner. Still have to service the switch. And then I think we're done. Other than that, the only thing I can do to this is an alignment, and I just want to see how it performs before I start twiddling the screwdrivers. So let's put it all back in the case. It's ready. Okay, I got to put it back together enough to the point where I need to do some testing, first of all, make sure it works. Another thing is I can't put this assembly into the case until everything's adjusted, because all the adjustment screws will be blocked by the case. Here's a little brass set screw here, and that adjusts the height of the head tracking. And then there is another one here. I'm not sure what that one does. I think that one tips the head forward and backwards like this. And then there's a screw here that will do the azimuth. So I have a tape, Boston. Who remembers this stuff? This is the anthem of my youth. I never actually owned this album, but every time I went to a house party, it was playing. It was pretty popular back in the day. So let's plug this thing in, and we'll see. Oh. It's like volume control for each channel. Left and right, that's right. Look at that. So that's working. That's working. That's my FM. Let's see if we can tune something here. 3 in the bits.
That is read click at our CBC business desk. And that little Bill's
It's actually coming in really nice. Let's try FM. That one's coming in pretty good. Okay, let's do our tape. Okay, radio tape. Okay, so that switches our tape. So I won't be able to do this. I won't be able to do this on camera because it's copyrighted material. And I was just looking at this. Looks like somebody's repaired this tape. It's got cello tape on both sides. So let's try it anyway. See if it works. Okay, well that is working, and it doesn't even sound like it needs an adjustment, but I'm going to go through the process of adjusting anyway, just so we can peek that out, and then I'll get this wrapped up and we can try it out. Well, there it is. It's all back together and it's finished, and actually I didn't have to tune up the tape too bad. It was actually pretty good. So let's try, and this thing's confusing because you can't remember which side it. And another thing that's not good is this left and right volume control. It's kind of confusing. So it works. Another thing is you have to press the button to see what track you're on. I don't know why they did that. I think they're trying to save batteries. But an LED doesn't draw very much current. So, radio. Let's try the radio again. I don't like this 2 potentiometer thing here. It's really awkward.
Hits and end action of the Stanley Cup Finals. Catch every moment as the Vegas Golden Knights take on the Florida.
FM. Picking up stereo stations.
Every store, including
So it's all working. It's all working, and it's working good. It sounds terrible because you saw the speakers in here. Here's a like 3-inch little permanent magnet speaker, and the fidelity of this thing is tragic. But this is what we replaced. All these caps, all these garbage Hong Kong caps. Majority of them are dead, or going to be dead pretty soon. Yeah, and then one broken potentiometer. Replace that, and then we're back in business. So this is a little piece of late 70s memorabilia. It's kind of unique the way it hatches together here, and you carry it as a unit. Here's a look at it all collapsed and set up for ready to go. You can play it this way. It's no problem. You got your input for your power, tape. You just have speakers on opposite sides, and all your controls are on top. So it's actually a nice little unit. I wonder what Sears sold these for new in the 80s, 1980. Probably 50 bucks, I bet. Gonna end it here. So thanks for watching. Hope to see you on the next one, and take care.